You've asked me 3 times today, where is the prostitute so I can give her the goat? And you're asking me again tomorrow. No, I will laugh at you. So, today I'm going to be reading from Genesis 38, and it is the story of Judah and Tamar. And Judah and Tamar, this is honestly, truly one of my favorite stories because it's wild. These people are these people are wild, right? And usually I was going with my usual story of learning about David, and I couldn't learn about David if I didn't learn about Solomon, and I couldn't learn about Solomon if I couldn't learn about, I couldn't learn about Saul if I didn't know about Solomon. So it took me all the way back to 1 Samuel, and I've been reading that. But today I decided to take a break from it and read the story of Judah and Tamar instead. read the story of Judah and Tamar instead, because this story is just wild. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. Okay. So for those of you who don't know where we are, I'm in Genesis 38, and I'm only doing 1 chapter today, so it shouldn't be that long, hopefully. Okay. All right, so it says, backstory. This is in the book of Genesis, and right now, hi Wale, and right now we're going through the story of Joseph. So you know the story of Joseph. Joseph gets sold into slavery by his brothers, Joseph and his coat of many colors, all that stuff. And so right smack dab in the middle of the story of Joseph is the story of Judah and Tamar. And so at first I was thinking, like, where is this even coming from? Because you have Joseph, Judah and Tamar, Joseph. It kind of just pops up out of nowhere. But after doing some research, I realized that Judah is actually the brother of Joseph. So whenever they were selling him into slavery, he's one of the people that was like, yo, let's sell him off too. I don't like him. He talks too much and he got weird dreams. So he ended up actually contributing to him selling Joseph into slavery, which is why I guess he gets his own section. Cause in the other sections, they literally only say his name once. They say his name once and then boom, he gets a section. So, that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into it with the story of Judah and Tamar. So it says, about this time, Judah left home and moved to Adullam. So after selling his brother, he leaves his house, goes to Adullam, where he stayed with a man named Hirah, right? There he saw a Canaanite woman, the daughter of Shua, and he married her. When he slept with her, she became pregnant and gave birth to a son, and he named the boy They don't like this boy. He has 2 letters in his name, E and R. That's it. Come here. Come and do this. Even me, I will get upset that you're calling my name because that's embarrassing. How can you only give me 2 letters and I'm the oldest? It's very disrespectful. Anyway, then she became pregnant again and gave birth to another son, and she named him Onan. See, I like that name. Onan. It almost sounds evil. Onan. And when she gave birth to a 3rd son, she named him Shelah. See, everybody else is getting good names. Onan, Shelah, Somebody does not like this boy. At the time of Shelah's birth, they were living at Kezib. Okay. In the course of time, Judah arranged for his firstborn son, to marry a young woman named Tamar. I love that name. Y'all know Tamar Braxton? I know she's a little bit crazy, but I like her name, and she gets her name from the Bible. So, a young woman named Tamar, right? But was a wicked man in the Lord's sight, so he took his life. But can you blame him? Can you blame him? He was wicked, but they named him If somebody named you and it was 2 letters, would you not be upset? Me, I would be mad at everybody. How can you name me Why wouldn't I be wicked? But don't be wicked, guys. It's not a good thing. But anyway, the Lord killed him. It doesn't tell us what he did, but we just know that he messed up really bad and the Lord took his life. So, in the, it says, but was a wicked man, so the Lord took his life. Then Judah said to Er's brother, Onan. Here we bring Onan. Go and marry Tamar, as our law requires of the brother of a man who has died. You must produce an heir for your brother. What a weird law, but that's their rule. Oh, that's awkward. That's an attack. I do answer your calls, but so it says you must marry. So basically, they're saying Onan, Er's younger brother, has to now marry Tamar, right? Poor woman. Like, what if Onan not cute? Like, what if Onan is not cute? So I married I probably thought was popping. And then now you're going to give me the brother. And the brother probably got like bug teeth or something. I don't know. But now Tamar has to marry him because that's the law. And she needs to produce an heir, for Judah. Because he needs a son. So, go and marry Tamar, as our law requires the brother of the man who has died. You must produce an heir for your brother. But Onan was not willing to have a child who could not be his own heir. So whenever he had intercourse with his brother's wife, he spilled the semen on the ground. Mounds was pulling out. Child! They sent you to go and have a child. They sent you to go and have a child with your wife, with your brother's wife. And this is what you're doing. You're spilling the semen on the ground. Thank you. So that you do not have the child. I mean, on one hand, I get it. Because, why I'm going to have to have a kid with her? I don't like her. I don't think she's cute. You know what I'm saying? Why do I have to have the child with her? But on the other hand, you were told to have a child. You cannot just be spilling your semen on the ground. You feel me? When they tell you to go have a child with this woman. So, because he did that, this prevented her from having a child. This prevented her from having a child who would belong to his brother. But the Lord considered it evil for Onan to deny a child to his dead brother. So the Lord took Onan's life too. Chai! Tamar is brought into this family. The first one dies. The second one dies. What now? The second one is even rude. He keeps spilling the semen on the ground. The first one, his name is He has 2 letters in his name. Very rude. Okay. So then Judah said to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, go back to your parents' home and remain a widow until my son Shelah is old enough to marry you. But it says in quotes, in parentheses, bad. They'll begin to think she's a witch. How come she comes and everybody's dying? So it said, go unto, so basically he's telling her, go home until my son is old enough to marry you. But Judah didn't really intend to do this because he was afraid Shelah would also die like his 2 brothers. Gloria, you were right. You're right. So they sent her home and said, well, don't worry. Whenever my youngest son gets old enough, you can marry him. Both of you will have a child. He will now have an heir, But he did not intend to have the son marry her because he said, if this one marries her, that goes all my sons dead. So he sent her back to her parents' house. You see why men are troublesome? You brought me to your house. You told me to marry the first son dies. Tomorrow told me to marry the second son dies. You now send me back to my father's house. Why did you bring me in the first place? You just came into my life to be causing trouble. Man, this Tamar woman is actually going through it, and I feel so bad for her. So bad. Okay. All right, so Tamar went back to live in her father's home. Women are troublesome also. This woman has been putting up with so much. And you did all of this to send me back to my father's house? Mind you, it's been years. Can you imagine I marry somebody and you send me back to my father's house? Back to my father's house at my big age. Men. Some years later, Judah's wife died. So Judah's wife, the father of and Onan and Shehan, after the time of mourning was over, Judah and his friend Hirah, the Adullamite, went up to Timnah to supervise the shearing of his sheep. Someone told Tamar, look, your father-in-law is going up to Timnah to shear his sheep. So, Judah's wife now dies. He don't mourn finish. He now goes up to the mountain to go and shear his sheep. And I'm guessing this is in the same village that Tamar lives in. Somebody tells Tamar, isn't that your father-in-law up there in the hill? Don't you know him? So Tamar was aware that Shelah had grown up, but no arrangements had been made for her to come and marry. So she's thinking like, you told me. Bad. So he said, you told me that once Shala grows up, I get to marry him. Shala's grown up. You ain't made no plans, ain't booked no venue, ain't ordered no cake. You haven't even given me an invitation to the wedding I'm supposed to be in. What's going on? Right? So she changed out of her widow's clothing and covered herself with a veil to disguise herself. Then she sat beside the road at the entrance to the village of Eniam, which is on the road to Timnah. Judah noticed her and thought she was a prostitute. Since she had covered her face. So he stopped and propositioned her. Let me have sex with you. Oh, God. Oh, my goodness. He said, not realizing that she was his own daughter-in-law. She said, how much will you pay to have sex with me? Tamar asked. And he said, I'll send you some young goats from my flock. Judah promised. Oh, wait, before we even move on. Judah has come. Bad, waiting for your husband. Judah has come to the village. She's mad because nobody has made no plans. Nobody has made no plans. So she disguises herself as a prostitute. Goes to the road to wait for him. He sees her, thinks it's a prostitute, and says, let me sleep with you. And she knows him. He doesn't know that it's Tamar, but Tamar knows it's him. How am I being overdramatic? You think this is normal? You think this is normal? You think these people just enter into situations like this? Anyway, so now she's asking for payment and he wants to pay her with the goods. You know, that's currency back then. Today, if you want to give me a goods, unless you're trying to marry me and it's bride price, I will not accept it. So he says, but what will you give me to guarantee that you will send the goat? Because he could go home and then not send the goat. And then what? She did all this for nothing? No goats, no goat's milk, no stew. What kind of guarantee do you want? He replied. She answered, leave me your identification seal and its cord and the walking stick you are carrying. So Judah gave them to her. Judah now gave everything he had, just says. Then he had intercourse with her and she became pregnant. Okay. Afterward, she went back home, took off her veil, and put on her widow's clothing as usual. Wait. Freeze. They got clothing for widows? Like, oh, she's single, she married, she a widow because she got on purple. Like, okay. Distinguishable mark. So people know you're a widow in the village. They know when you're walking through the streets, this is a widow because she has on gold and purple. All right, you. Okay. Later, Judah asked his friend Hurrah, the Adullamite, to take the young goat to the woman and to pick up the things he had given her as a guarantee. So Judah kept his word, I guess. No, Vad, she's... What's going on? Judah kept his word, sent her the goat. I need to be putting my finger wherever I leave off because I'm always looking for it. But Hurrah couldn't find her. So he went to the street to go look for the prostitute. Obviously, she's not a prostitute. It's not her regular block. She's not there. So he asked the men who lived there, where can I find the shrine prostitute who was sitting beside the road at the entrance of Enam? And they said, we've never had a prostitute here, they replied. So Hurrah returned to Judah and told him, I couldn't find her anywhere. And the men of the village claimed they have never had a shrine prostitute there. So you hear that? Judah probably freaking out like, did I sleep with his spirits? Was it Mami Wata? Who did I sleep with? Because I went to go bring the goats and nobody was there. Okay. Then he let her keep the things I gave her, Judah said. Because he's like, I can't find her, let her keep it. I don't care. I sent the young goat as we agreed, but you couldn't find her. We'd be the laughingstock of the village if we went back again to look for her. Bad. I sent the goat, I sent everything. We couldn't find her. If we go back now and begin to purposefully look for prostitutes, they will be laughing at us. And it's true, because I will laugh at you. What are you doing back here looking for prostitutes to give out goats? About 3 months later, Judah was told, Tamar, your daughter-in-law, has acted like a prostitute. And now, because of this, she's pregnant. Who snitched? Who snitched? How do you find this out? Tamar, in her wild mouth, probably went to go tell somebody, yo, guess what I did? And because they have a big mouth, they probably went to go snitch like, y'all, Tamar was being a prostitute. This is what happened. And now, word has spread around the village. It's not come back to Judah. Judah, you're not thinking. You're not thinking. You're not thinking. Okay. But as they were taking her out to kill her, she sent this message to her father-in-law. The man who owns these things made me pregnant. Look closely whose seal and cord and walking stick are these. Right, Gloria? Wait, can you imagine? No, but that was very smooth of her. She said, wait. Before you kill me. The man who got me pregnant, this is his walking stick. This is his, this is his seal, and this is his cord. Find him. That's the man who got me pregnant. And I'm, of course, Judah gonna look at them like, this is mine. And that is mine. She was smooth with it. She said, here, take it. Judah recognized them immediately and said, she is more righteous than I am, because I didn't arrange for her to marry my son Shelah and Shelah, and Judah never slept with Tamar again. This line, very smooth, right? This line is very interesting to me, because in all of this madness, she's been a prostitute, you slept with her, all that stuff. Judah still says, she is more righteous than I am, because I didn't arrange for her to marry my son Shelah. So he looked at the whole situation and said, she's better than me. She's better than me because I didn't keep my end of the bargain. I didn't listen to her. I promised her something. I didn't listen. I didn't follow through. So she's better than me. Okay? When the time came for Tamar to give birth, it was discovered that she was carrying twins. Not one, not two, but 1,000. 2 twins. Okay. While she was in labor, one of the babies reached out his hand. The midwife grabbed it and tied a scarlet string around the child's wrist, announcing, this one came out first. But then he pulled back his hand, and out came his brother. What? The midwife exclaimed. How did you break out first? So he was named Perez. Then the baby with the scarlet string on his wrist was born, and he was named Zerah. So wait, she's gone into labor. These kids are funny. The first kid sticks his hand out and they tie a wrist around it like, oh, this is the firstborn. We know who came out first. Then man is funny because he goes and brings it back. And then the other twin goes, and then she's like, wait. Even she exclaimed, what? I would be confused. I just saw a hand. You want to go back into the placenta? What are you doing? And then the other one goes and brings his hand out. And so he's like, okay, well, I guess you're the firstborn and you're the secondborn. And so the one who was supposed to be the firstborn is named Perez. And the second one is named Zerah. And that is the end of the story of Judah and Tamar. Now, when I first read this story, I was like, this is mad. This is mad. How could this happen? How could this happen? Like, you have all of this mess. Like, what good could possibly come out of it? So we end up realizing, right, the Perez is actually an ancestor to King David. So if Tamar would not have done what she did, we would not have had King David. And there are some writers and Bible philosophians, Bible theologians, Bible theologists who believe that Tamar may have been prophetic. So she knew what was going to come and how everything was going to play out with King David. So all of that needed to happen. Philosophers. Yes, Bible philosophers. All of that needed to happen in order for us to get King David. And so, first of all, you look at that and you see how God really turns a situation that is a mess into something that ended up benefiting everybody else, the whole world. King David, who's actually who I'm studying right now. And so just like that, also in our lives, it's very easy to look at the situations that we're in and see the mess and be like, God cannot work with this. There is no way God can work with this. Exactly. There is no way that God can work with this. Like, look at the mess that I've created for myself. Look at the mess that I'm in. How can God look at this and then make it a blessed situation? But the reality is, God has a reputation for turning some of the wildest things into the biggest blessings. Like, look at this story. She slept with her father-in-law, and to get a baby. And back then, apparently, like, it was considered really evil for somebody to really let their daughter-in-law die barren. The rule was the rule among the Levites was that you were supposed to, if the son died, you were supposed to you're supposed to find another heir, whether it be the father-in-law or the next brother. You were supposed to follow it until you got the other heir. And Judah had no intention of doing that. He had no intention of doing that. So she had to take matters into her own hands. And it's interesting to me because Judah, if you look at his rep, he sold his brother Joseph into slavery. So you have this man who sold his brother into slavery. His wife dies. He mourns and begins to look for a prostitute to sleep with. And it ends up being his daughter-in-law. And then I found this little reading. Let me move this over so I can read it. They kind of explain this. It says, you focus on Tamar, but first I would encourage you to focus on Judah. Judah was familiar with the law, as were all players in this family drama. Yet his oldest sons were so badly behaved that God struck them down. What does that say about the kind of father and man Judah was? That he should have two sons who so displeased the Lord. And why then does he secretly believe their deaths were Tamar's fault instead of God's will? Which is a good point. Your sons are messed up. They've been messing around doing evil stuff, but you look at Tamar and say, oh, she's the problem. You're not thinking correctly. So we don't know Er's sin, but it was clear that he was not righteous. Judah did the correct thing in telling Onan to take Tamar for his wife, but Onan didn't want to lose the inheritance he would have. Okay, my Bible version is, I think it's NLT, New Living Translation. I like NLT because I feel like it's more like relatable to me. Yeah. No, bad. God is a genius. The way he thinks, a genius. So it says, I'm reading this off of, I was just looking up maybe more reasons to explain this whole situation. But it says, yeah, Onan didn't want to lose the inheritance he would have if Tamar stayed childless. So he also turned his back on the will of God, and God struck him down for it. So basically, the reason Onan was even pulling out and not letting her have a child in the first place is because he realized, if this woman stays barren, I get to have my inheritance. But if she has a child, the child gets the inheritance. Because technically, he would have been next in line for Judah's inheritance. But so he was plotting against her. He was like, if you don't got a child, nobody's there to take my inheritance, so I'm not going to give you this child. And God was like, that's wicked, death. We don't know Tamar's parents' views on this. All we know is that she got sent back. But I'm pretty sure, like, I would be upset. Like, I give you my daughter. Exactly. She was in her father's house. I would be upset. Like, I gave you my daughter and you're going to send her back to me after putting her through all of this? She didn't come into that house. She came into that house to marry Y'all remember with the E-R? Man's name And now she's marrying Onan. And you're making her go through all this stuff just to get the son that she rightfully deserves. What a strong woman. And then she ends up having her twins. And it's because of the twins that we end up getting King David. And a lot of people say, like, that resilience, that boldness, all of that stuff that King David had is the same thing that Tamar had. So who's to say that he didn't get it, from his great ancestor Tamar? We don't know. But yeah, in conclusion, like I said earlier, just remember that it's very easy to look at your situation and think that there's no way that God can work with this. It's very easy to look at the things that you've done and be like, yo, I've done a lot. I've messed up a lot. I've sinned a lot. I don't even know if I'm worthy of this kind of treatment from God, you know? But this story literally tells us that God took this very, very crazy situation, exactly, very crazy situation, and turned it into something that was beautiful. And out of it, we got King David. And now King David had this woman in his lineage or ancestry-dom. I don't know the words. King David ended up having this woman who has this crazy background as one of his ancestors, and she's a blessed woman because of it. All right, so before I go, y'all have any last comments, any last thoughts, anything you want to say before I dip? I told you it wouldn't be that long today because it was only one book. Next time, I'm going to go over the second Tamar. So there are actually 2 Tamars in the Bible, and both of them were done wrong. Done very, very wrong. Beautiful name, terrible situation. Oh, yes, I shall pray. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to say a quick prayer before we head out. Let me clear my system. Okay, so Father, Lord, King of glory, thank you so much for allowing us to all come together today. Thank you for allowing us to read your word. We ask, oh Lord, that you give us open hearts to be able to receive what we learned today, that you'll move all of us through it, and that we will also get our own lessons out of it that we can apply to our everyday lives. We ask, oh God, that you will show us how you can turn our situations into things that are blessings and that will bless us and bless your kingdom. If there's anybody that's feeling discouraged, that's feeling distant from you, oh God, we just ask that you draw them close to you and show them your love in the amazing way that only you alone can. Thank you so much for being our Father, our King, and most importantly, our best friend. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. That being said, any last questions, comments, thoughts before I head out? Thank you for reminding me, Gloria, because I said I was going to do a closing prayer, and then I completely forgot. Anything else? Any comments that I missed? Yeah. Okay, guys. I am going to dip out now. Thanks. God bless. Thank you, Gloria. Thank you for interacting. Thank you guys for watching. And I will see you later. Bye.